Man, what's happening? I know it's been a long time. Y'all ain't seen me in a minute. I got a life too. I got things that I do, man. Things that I have going on. So, let's get right down to business, man. Everything's been okay, man. Just, in school full time is midterm, man. So I'm just trying to do the best I can with the things that I have. So I just wanted to say hey to everybody. Been a long time, man. I know y'all hadn't heard from him. I know y'all probably saying, oh, they done got to old Cliff, man, or old Sip or whatever you people call him, old chap or whatever. Nah, just been relaxing, man, checking on everybody, just been watching the madness that's going on around the state. First of all, I want to address a few issues, man. I don't know which end to start, the north end or the south end or whatever, but it's just been, I want to really address the thing of probation and parole. It seems that we're going from corrections to probation and parole because what they're doing is the first thing I want to address the one thing is how we have more people who came from probation and parole with no correctional experience, no law enforcement experience that are being put in position inside of MDOC, yet and still they think that this is probation and parole. Mississippi has the highest rate of violation in any state in the United States. Do your homework. We violate more people for failure to pay fines than any other state. So why would you send a person back because he can't pay his monthly probation fee, whether it's $25, $75, or whatever the fee? Why would you send him back to prison where they don't pay him inside of prison and expect him to survive and to do the things to be able to readjust? First of all, you hadn't trained him while he was there. If he did 15 or 20 years, he's coming out against a stacked deck. How is he going to come out and find employment and make enough money to pay you? First of all, take care of himself. And if he meets a woman and he gets a family, take care of his family and be able to readjust to society. But you want to violate him because when he showed up, he didn't pay his probation and parole. How you doing? Listen, he didn't pay his probation and parole fee. So I wanted to address that. And then how are you setting people off? How you giving people, I know people that's got at least 20 years worth of set off that's been locked up 30 years over there, hadn't had an RVR in 20 years, but you set him off for 3 years or 5 years because of the nature of the crime. The one thing, man, you don't understand, and I heard Mr. Belt when he was talking at the Senate here, talking about, well, the thing is, you giving him a set off because he haven't taken a proper program. That's not his fault if the institution is not offering the program. How can he take something that the institution doesn't offer? You know what I mean? So you're going to keep on setting people off for the nature of the crime. One thing about it, when he goes before the parole board, the nature of the crime is never going to change. It's going to be the same thing it was. The thing that you're supposed to look at is has that offender changed since he's been incarcerated? And evidently he's changed it. His first 10 years he got RVRs, and now in the last 20 years he hadn't got an RVR. So there are several guys, man, at Parsham, SMCI, and CMCL, and Walnut Grove, who hadn't got RVR in several years, man. Henry Stevens was one, Mac Watts, Derek Vincent. They just named Oliver Brown. These just named some people across the state. Sleepy, I can't even think of his real name. CMCL. They've been going to the parole board for years, and they got over 20 something years worth of set off. You give them a 1 year set off the first time, where it goes back in the year, then you give them a 5 year set off, and nothing has changed. He still hasn't got an RVR within that time. He's still remaining a good work conduct, and nothing has changed. And yet, and still, you set him off for 3 years or 5 years or something like that. So tell me, how is a guy supposed to maintain hope and sanity within a system like that, to where when you as a gatekeeper to the community, uh, keep him on, keep him locked up. You won't give him an opportunity, but yet and still, you'll give a person that killed his mom and killed his stepdad, you'll give him an opportunity who was on death row, won his fight to get off death row. You give him a chance. He's out 3 months. He's drinking and have an accident, and yet and still you let him go again. You know what I mean? But you won't give him anything. Of course, I hate to play the race card, but his race was a little bit different than mine. I just put it to you like that. Now I'm going to address some things that at Walnut Grove, right? How do you have an officer at Walnut Grove, what's his name, was Pryor. They continue to disrespect people and antagonize guys who are on lockdown for 24 hours. I won't even say 23 and 1 because 9 times out of 10, if they're at Walnut Grove, they're not getting that 1 hour rec like they're supposed to. And you tell the guy, Gotti, the young man that killed himself about a month ago, you tell him, he tells you that he needs to speak with somebody. And everywhere the man went, man, he was at Parchman when Gotti was down there, the white guy that hung himself, man, he worked. He had a few issues with drugs. When he came to CFCF, the man worked. You know, he has a substance abuse problem. If you're not getting him the correct treatment, how do you expect him to be able to fight his addiction or get off his addiction or to maintain a level of sanity where he can cope within your prison system? You know what I mean? We know that we have a high rate of drugs going in and out, and the inmates are not leaving going and getting drugs. So evidently somehow they're getting there, you know, some kind of way. You know what I mean? So you always blame him being hooked on drugs, but you never find the source of the drugs coming into the system. With the amount of contraband that they're finding, man, like duffel bags and duffel bags inside of the prison system, you can't throw a duffel bag over a fence. I don't care if you're Superman. You know what I mean? I don't care if you're Superman. You can't throw a bag of drugs over the fence. And so I'm just wondering, like, how Pryor, when the man was hollering down the range several times saying he needs some help, he needs to speak to somebody for mental health, you know, that he was thinking about killing himself. In your words, Mr. Pryor, and I want y'all to go back, DOJ, whoever's going to listen to it, Chad White, everybody, go back and review the film of the day that Gotti killed himself, that the inmate killed himself there at East Mississippi and hung himself in the cell. Go back and review the film and listen to Mr. Pryor telling the man that, okay, go ahead. When you kill yourself, we'll just cut you down and we'll be done with you. We'll be through with you. So how can you as an officer walk down the tier and a man tell you that he needs help and he needs to speak with somebody? He's fearful for his life. You know what I mean? He's going to kill himself if he can't talk to anybody. You tell him to go ahead and I'll see you later. You know what I mean? So Pryor, man, you out of line. There's a lot of things that you're doing down there that are not within policy. You know what I'm saying? If you're frustrated and you don't like it, they'll tell them to put you on perimeter so you can carry your ass around and drive around the perimeter somewhere, man. Don't be in there abusing those guys, you know, as long as they're locked up. And then you went in and you sprayed the boy that was next door that was trying to tell the people, while the people was there cutting him down, you spray him with mace. Look inside the cell. You got your own mace, not MDOC issue mace. You got your own mace the way you're walking around, you're carrying around, and you're spraying people on the tier. So I think that they need to look at you and look at reassigning you. Send you down to 29, send you to death row or somewhere. Send you to another institution, you know, or even core civic. And so now Parchman, you know, with this new directive, how about you, Batman, how are you going to put out a memo telling everybody that they have to go through Catwoman in order for them to be able to get into the institution? You know what I mean? And for people who don't know, if you never watched Batman growing up, you know Batman's love interest was Catwoman. So how are you going to say, without me saying names, how are you going to tell everybody that they have to go through Catwoman in order to be able to get through the institution? Or if they're going to come in and visit, that all the memos are to go through her. When Catwoman is assigned to MAGCOR, she has a MAGCOR pen, not an MDOC pen. She has a MAGCOR pen. So why is she conducting MDOC business? Why do any MDOC staff have to talk to somebody from MAGCOR about getting a volunteer to come in or to stay inside the institution? Why does any memo, with that being your spouse, any memo or any type of paperwork that deals with MDOC has to come with her? If you didn't know, sir, that was nepotism. And that's the same thing that got our current commissioner removed from Angola, or forced him to retire from Angola, because instances of nepotism where he was doing favors for a family member and having them, you know, doing favors for inmates who were on the ground because of contribution that their family member was making. Just like you were sitting in the truck with Brandon's daddy when y'all had the cookout up at the place. Why would you sit with a family member's parent, father or mother, in the truck while they're on grounds when they're having a banquet at the place?